Welcome back, crew, to Boats vs. Haulover, where man and machine take on Mother Nature down at beautiful Haulover Inlet in Miami, Florida, and it's gonna be an interesting one today. We got a 15-mile-an-hour wind, an outgoing tide, probably 3-foot waves at about 4 seconds, which make for some treacherous conditions as our captains try and make their way out, but that's not gonna stop them. Let's get our competition started, as we're gonna begin right here in the first round with our first crew working their way out of Haulover, taking the slow roll approach. Sometimes that pays off, but not all the time at Haulover. They gotta try and get this bow up a little higher, and no! They wind up stuffing it. They came out just a little too slow. I mean, they were trying to use an abundance of caution. It is a rough day down here at Haulover, but still, even with a vessel like this, they gotta keep the throttle up just a little bit and try and let this boat slice through the waves instead of getting to porpoising like it was. Unfortunately for this crew, though, they wind up taking the wave over the bow of the boat, and that's gonna mean a loss for the boats here in the first round. This will bring us to the second round of our competition with Haulover up 1-0, but we're going to get one of the professionals stepping in the ring here in the second round, as we're going to have one of the Towboat US vessels starting to work its way out of Haulover. Now, he's keeping a pretty decent pace right here. Just about right. The boat's just barely up on plane, which is just enough power to let the boat do the work for you and keep the bow high enough to where you hopefully don't stuff it. You just gotta watch it, because as you smack these waves, the boat will start to want to come off plane, and you gotta add just a little more power to make sure to keep the boat up. But honestly, the biggest pro move our captain made here was hugging the south side of the inlet. He didn't go down the middle. That's the biggest mistake we see most people make. If you hug that north or south side, you're gonna have a much easier ride out, just like we saw this captain have, who winds up taking a win in the second round. And that'll bring us to the third round of our competition, tied at 1 apiece, and man, the boat stuffs it early. They didn't waste any time. This Robalo was coming out. Basically, the first big wave they hit, this crew winds up taking it right over the bow. Now, that huge smack to the chops for these guys winds up bringing them off plane and bringing the boat back down to almost a crawl's pace. Cap's probably a little off his game right now. When you take a big wave like that over the bow before you even get out into the rollers of Haulover, obviously it can shake your nerves just a little bit. Cap's trying to pick the pace back up as he leans slowly back into the throttle. I mean, the good news for this crew is everybody's behind the helm, so they're in no real danger right now. They're just taking that slow, leisurely roll out of the inlet. But unfortunately for this crew, the damage has already been done, and this crew will take a loss for the boats, and that's going to give Haulover a 2-1 edge before we move into the fourth round of our contest. And here in the fourth round, we're going to feature a Blue Water stepping into the ring to try and do battle with Haulover. And here we go, our crew's working their way in. I really like this pace, keeping that bow up with the heavy following sea behind them. You gotta make sure you keep it up so you don't wind up stuffing it. It's a slow roll approach in, but honestly, one of the best approaches you can make on a rough day like today, and this crew will wind up easily taking a win for the boats in the fourth round, and that will bring us back to a 2-2 tie as we move into the fifth and final round of our contest, where we're gonna have a Hydro Sports working its way out of Haulover. And let's see how this crew fares. It's a rough day. Cap looks like he knows what he's doing. They did kind of go down the middle a little bit, so they did pick the rougher path, but this boat's still more than capable of handling this even on a day like today. They've kept the pace about right. They didn't come out too fast, and they didn't come out too slow, or they easily could have stuffed the bow on this one, but it looks like our crew is going to make it out without issue and take a win for the boats, which means the boats will take a win in this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we got the Miami Boat Ramps channel that features all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps in South Florida. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.